Pat Bodie cannot be here tonight, unfortunately, but we're going to swear her in on the January 2 meeting. But first, I want to acknowledge the service of Matt Blake and Adam Obrecht. Matt and Adam have both been on the council for one term and have done a great job, each in their own ways. Adam has served previously on the school board and been very experienced there. Matt's been involved in many things during his tenure, also served actively in active duty during his tenure on the council. So they both have had a breadth of service, both have the mentality of service to their city, service to their country. So we want to acknowledge that tonight and thank them for their service to the city council and to the city of Urbandale for their years here on the council. So with that, I want to, first of all, I'm going to have Adam come up. And I'll, Adam, if you. Congratulations, thank you. And I'm going to turn this over to, actually, I got to turn this over. We need to use the microphone for the streaming, so I'm going to let you say a few words.
Okay. It's always a good thing to talk before Matt, not after Matt. So thank you, Mayor, for letting me do that. But just want to thank the community, thank specifically the staff a lot. I mean, we honestly, I think, have the easier job in the city of we get to come up with ideas. It's the staff that has to research it, do it, execute it, tell us we're crazy at times, hopefully. And so just want to continue to thank the staff for all the work that they've put in, for the ideas that we've generated from a council standpoint. And got to serve with a great group of council members and just continue to work throughout the city. Definitely not going anywhere. So now we'll see what other things are in store, and just appreciate my time on the council.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for your service. Thank you to Denise and family for sharing Adam with us during those years as well. So next, I want to acknowledge Matt Blake. Again, Matt's finishing his first term, and I want to bring him up and have him say a few words and acknowledge him as well. Take them. Okay. Now we have to start at 6 o'clock. So.
Saxon! So I will say this. I didn't actually prep a speech tonight, so I know y'all are lucky. So I don't know, that might be the worst thing because I might just keep talking. I will say to mirror and echo many of Adam's comments. These last 4 years have been absolutely incredible. Service to your community is, especially at the local level, is one of the greatest honors you can do. We got calls about coyotes. We got calls about, different houses and different broken, I remember touring a trail and trying to figure out why the trail was like moving over slightly or something like that. So it's amazing what people care about, and it's important, and I'm glad that they care. And I think that's the one thing that was so great serving on the council, is that the local people, they give it, oh, there's a lot of kids, never mind. Darn about their communities. But the thing that I will also echo from Adam is the staff. That has been the greatest part of this job. The staff are the ones that are the unsung heroes when it comes to local government. We, yes, on the council get to have the glory of being on the city council, but we say jump and they say how high. Sometimes we say, you should jump this, like you should jump over the building. And then they're like, we don't have the bandwidth for that. We will just do a step stool. That's what we can all do. But that's important. And that's what keeps us in check. And they are the ones that do all these cool, amazing things. And we are just the ones that show up and take the pictures. So, it's been amazing. I'm so glad that again, it was 4 years, but there was that thing I left for, so it's like 3. But I appreciate every one of you that came here tonight. I appreciate the staff, and I'm super looking forward to a couple other great city council members that will come in and take my spot and Adam's spot. So I could keep going. Do you want me to? No. No. We got somebody else we got to swear in. We got some other of those. So thank you again. Thank you for being here. I appreciate this opportunity, and thank you for entrusting me with the service of and leadership of this community. Thank you.
And again, I just want to conclude with some points. Both Matt and Adam have, in my observations of them and working with them over the last 4 years, have always been prepared. They ask questions. They ask great questions. They have great dialogue. We've worked together as a great council over these last 4 years. So again, I want to thank them for their service to our community. They truly have been your ambassadors for our community, work very hard, and they both have bright futures ahead of them in whatever capacities they still do. So I know we will not see them on the council right now, but I know we will see them in other ventures, and we look forward to seeing what they do in the future, both for our city and elsewhere. So again, let's give them a last round of applause. And with that, we are going to move on to the swearings in. And I'm going to ask Bridget to come up first. So we have, with the election, we have 3 council members that were elected. First, Bridget was re-elected to a second term on the city council. Then as well as Blake Rosendahl elected to his first term, which we'll swear in shortly, and Pat Bodie, who unfortunately, due to illness, could not be here tonight, but we will swear her in at the January 2 meeting. So Bridget, now first, why don't you turn here and we'll do this. Are you ready? I, Bridget Carberry Montgomery,
I, Bridget Carberry Montgomery,
of the city of Urbandale, Iowa,
of the city of Urbandale, Iowa,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the state of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties
discharge all the duties
of the office of council member
of the office of council member
of the city of Urbandale, Iowa,
of the city of Urbandale, Iowa,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter required by law.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sign right there. Let's get it. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Is this hers, Nicole? Is that hers? Okay. Is that hers to take? Okay. So, oh, I'm gonna leave this for you, but you get your certificate of election from Polk County.
It's probably not on the agenda for me to speak, but
Go ahead, no, go ahead, no, here. No, you should, here, I'm sorry. I didn't think of that, here. Yes, please.
as I'm hearing my kids don't give her the mic. I just wanted to thank all of you for your support, and you all know how emotional I am, but it has been an absolute pleasure to serve our community over the last 4 years with COVID and some other things that have happened in the world. The time has just flown by, but thanks to an incredible city staff and great colleagues on the council, I feel like we've really accomplished a lot. And I look forward to another 4 years, hopefully without a major international pandemic to kick us off here. But no, it's just been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to serving with some new colleagues and some ones that are hanging on and doing some really great things for Urbandale. I know we are going to hit the ground running, AJ, in January. Well, probably this weekend, actually. So thanks a lot for your support. It means so much to have all of you here. Thanks a lot.
All right, and Blake, I'll ask you to come up next. You ready? I, Blake Rosendahl,
I, Blake Rosendahl,
of the city of Urbandale, Iowa,
of the city of Urbandale, Iowa,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all of the duties
discharge all the duties
of the office of council member
of the office of council member
of the City of Urbandale, Iowa,
of the City of Urbandale, Iowa,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter required by law.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard. Say a few words.
Sounds good. I'll keep it short because I didn't realize I'd be making a speech. Thanks, Bridget. Thank you to everybody who came out tonight to support everybody who was leaving the council and joining the council. Your support makes it possible for us to be here, and it makes it possible for this city to run. And so I am really, really excited for the next 4 years of work that we get to do on the council and in the community. So I appreciate all your support, and reach out if you need anything, obviously.
All right, as I said, Pat will be sworn in at the January 2 meeting, so if you want to come back for that, we'd be honored to have you here for that, and we'll swear in Pat before her first meeting that will take place shortly after that. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for supporting our outgoing members and our new members as well as our council member that was reelected. So thank you for being here tonight. It is our honor to serve you, and we look forward to doing it well into the future. So thank you all for being here, and got a few more minutes, so enjoy yourselves. We have 15 minutes before the council meeting starts, so no. All right, thank you, everybody. Enjoy some more time, and then we'll get started at 6 o'clock with the council meeting. Able for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Urbandale is a national leader in character counts, endeavoring at all times to promote and model the principles of trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. In conducting tonight's meeting, we expect that all participants will act in a respectful manner consistent with these principles. Item 2 is to approve the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Motion by McBurney, second by Obrecht. Discussion, please vote. Yeah. Adam's gonna do it. All right, that passes. Item 3 is citizens forum. This is the opportunity to address the council on something that's not a part of tonight's agenda. Is there anyone that would like to address the council at this time? All right, seeing none, we will move on. Item 4 is to approve the minutes from the November 28 meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Obrecht. Second. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. That's what's gonna be over. All right, that passes. Item 5 is our consent agenda. There are 17 items on the consent agenda for approval.
I would like to remove item 5.3 to vote separately.
Okay, we will remove that. Is there a motion then to accept the balance?
Motion to approve consent agenda minus 5.3.
Okay. Second. Motion by Obrecht, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. All right.
On item 5.3, I would like to vote no on Plan and Zoning Commission appointment Wayne Van Huvelen.
We have,
Do I need to make a motion?
well, we should, you want to make a motion for that appointment? For the appointment, it needs to be a motion for the appointment of that, and then the second, and then we'll take the balance, because there's a number of appointments. So.
You want to make a motion, Adam? Not this. I want to approve the rest of them, so I guess I move the balance of the appointment. Well,
You move the balance of the appointments with absent Mr. Van Hoevelen from,
I just want to not make a big deal out
I
of this.
understand. but
And
we-
just acknowledge that I'm not voting in support of that particular appointment.
So I'll accept that as a motion to approve the balance. Is there a second? Okay, motion and a second. Discussion. Do you have that? Do you want to do a roll call vote on that or? Everybody? Okay, so please vote.
So So what are we voting yes
It's a motion to
to?
approve the balance of my appointments that were listed.
Okay, so we're doing everybody except for planning and zoning right now.
No, except for Mr. Van Hoevelen on planning and zoning. There was another appointment to planning and zoning.
Okay, so when we vote yes, we're voting yes to exclude one appointee.
You're voting yes for the balance of the appointees other than that particular one.
Okay.
Just, don't worry about it. I'm just voting no. No.
So, okay, that motion.
So now,
Now we just vote on one.
now I'd like to make a motion to approve Wayne Van Hoevelen for planning and zoning.
Okay, is there a second?
Okay, I'll second that. I guess then
So then that
so
would,
then Matt, are you and I changing our votes? Because
No,
on our
you're
previous
voting
one?
on this separately. It's a separate item.
right.
So now we're voting on for Mr.
Just Van Hoevelen. But you
for planning and
guys,
zoning.
do you want to change your votes on the last one to be a question?
Yeah,
Yes, you
because
didn't.
I'm in support of approving everybody else, so then.
That was the vote.
Yeah. Well, right, but it was, sorry, I guess I mean, you're giving me that look, but the way that
No,
this
I'm
is
saying
being done,
First vote was for everybody else but Mr. Van Hoevelen.
gotcha. Okay, so then Nicole, can I change my vote on the previous to yay instead of, it's not gonna impact the outcome
It
of it.
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It
it's fine,
passed.
whatever,
It passed.
whatever.
All right, so now we have a motion by Adam. Is there a second? By
Yeah, I seconded it.
McBurney. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Thank you.
All right, that passes. All right, moving on then to public hearings. First is item 6.1 is a public hearing to consider the Forward Urbandale Comprehensive Plan. The public notice for this was published on November 29 in the Des Moines Register, and ask for any objections to that notice is published.
There were none.
It's for motion to open the public hearing.
Move to open the public hearing?
Motion by Obrecht,
Second.
second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. And to introduce us is our Community Development Director, Steve Franklin. Steve?
Thank you all. Good evening. Very happy to be able to have this item in front of you this evening. It's been basically a 2-year process. Been very in-depth. As you all know, we've had community stakeholder meetings, we've had business stakeholder meetings, we've had a community visiting workshop, which was in April of '22. There have been a couple of joint sessions with you all, with planning and zoning commissioners. So lots of good feedback on this. And now we're to the point where the adoption of this comprehensive plan is before you. Planning and Zoning Commission did meet on November 20th, had an open house from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. Before the public hearing, had about 20, 25 people go through that, had some comments and some questions answered for that. And then at the public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission did unanimously recommend that you all adopt this plan. So I will introduce John Hausiel, who's with us tonight via WebEx from Chicago, and he can briefly run through everything. The one thing I would tell you is that, you know, this is similar to building a house. This is the foundation. And when you build a house, you pick all the new things and you figure out what the house is going to look like, but you got to have the foundation before you can build the rest of the house. So this is the foundation.
And I can assure you that your staff is working hard now on what are the next steps. And in fact, we've got another meeting scheduled right after the first of the year to just jump right in the deep end of the pool and figure out, how we're going to implement this overall arching plan. So we are taking that very seriously and going to put some things together to bring back to you to figure out how we get it done. But this is the foundation. And with that, I will introduce John Housiel. Kudos to John for when we got off track a little bit with some staffing issues that they certainly didn't anticipate. John stepped up to the plate and made sure he delivered a good plan here for us. So, John, with that, I will turn it over to you to briefly run through the plan, and then we can answer any questions.
That sounds great. Thanks, Steve. Hopefully everybody can hear me well. It's nice to be at this moment after a lengthy process and a lot of community input from residents, business communities, stakeholders, a really great working staff that you've got there at the City Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council. So again, it's nice to be here this evening. As Steve indicated, this is a foundation for a lot the city will undertake in terms of initiatives to improve the city going forward. A lot of that centered around land use and development and community facilities. So what I planned on doing was really briefly, just running through the comprehensive plan quickly, sort of as an orientation to those who may not be familiar with it. I know City Council is very familiar with it. We've had working sessions with you for the plan overall, as well as the sub areas. So I'll spend just a few minutes and go through it quickly, and then to sort of get it on the record. And then, as Steve indicated, myself and staff can answer any questions that may come up. But the support for this over the last year and a half has been fantastic. And the feedback we've gotten since the draft has been available online and in person has really been fantastic. So the Urbandale Forward Urbandale Comprehensive Plan is what you've got. Let me share my screen real quickly. I'm actually going to present it. So let's see, you should be able to see that now. Do you see the plan cover?
Yes, we do.
Screens?
Yeah, we can see it, yes.
Okay, so I'm not going to do it full screen because this way I can do the full spread and go through it a little bit more quickly, which is I think more important. So again, the contents of this or the chapters are the introduction, stating why we did it, the process that was undertaken.
John, we lost it completely, didn't we?
We lost him totally.
Okay.
So I was going to say quickly, Steve, you mentioned 2 years. This is the cautionary tale to anybody else talking to future council members, because the three of us as future council members remember sitting in the back row, and you said, hey, it'd really nice to get a new comprehensive plan done. So that's a cautionary tale of sometimes when you tell future council members things that become council members, they do actually happen. So.
Yes, they do actually happen.
I think it's funny that it's one of your last votes.
Yes.
It's ironic. Sometimes it does take a while to get there. Nikki, do we have him back?
Our way of controlling the future. Right.
That's right. There is, I will mention, as part of the comp plan, there is an implementation matrix that is part of that comp plan. And it's kind of a list of everything, kind of a brief summary of everything that's in the document. And there are a lot of to-dos in there. Some of them are more complicated than others. But naturally, staff anticipates that your next questions are, okay, what are we going to do? And again, as I mentioned, we've got a meeting scheduled with several departments right after the first of the year to be able to go through that list and kind of prioritize some things of the lowest hanging fruit, I guess you would say, of some things that we want to do to the zoning code. We know that there's going to, what happens most of the time is that the next step is that you make some tweaks to many of your codes. And we think that that's coming. And so we're going to identify some things for you and bring those forward to you and really just come up with a plan of how we now implement this new plan for some things that are going to matter in Urbandale. And that'll kind of be our guiding light for the next, hopefully 15 to 20 years. And so that's going to be an interesting process, and it's going to be an exciting process. As I said when we started this exercise, we do a lot of things right. If you look at our citizen survey and all of the different input throughout the community that we do a lot of things right. But this plan does specify some tweaks and some things that we do. It increases our density. It talks about different housing types. It talks about some of the things that we need to do better for our residents to be able them to have the good, full community experience for living here. So we think it's a good plan and look forward to getting into the next steps. Nicole, do we have him back, or John, are you there again? The technology's great when it works. Okay, hopefully he's going to try to come back in. While we're waiting for him to get back on, you want to wait and see if he reconnects to do the presentation? You want to open up or hear from people at this point? What would you like to do?
Well, yeah, why don't we do that? Let's wait. Why don't we this is a public hearing, so I'm going to open it up for public comment at this point and do that. So again, this is a public hearing, and I'll open it up if I'll recognize anybody who would like to speak either for or against this. I just ask you to raise your hand so I can recognize you, and then come up to the podium, give your name and address, and you have 5 minutes to address the council on this. So is there anyone who'd like to address the council on this? Okay. Doug, if you want to come up.
Good evening. My name is Doug Siedenberg. I'm with the Siedenberg Group here in Des Moines. We're a commercial real estate and consulting firm, and I'm here authorized by the Fisher family regarding the 72 acres of ground that they own in the northeast quadrant of Meredith Drive and 170th Street. That's Alice's Road. 3 years ago, 32.4 acres of this ground was zoned commercial. The comp plan, as it's drawn, shows the south parcel of the ground in a higher density residential use, with the balance of the ground in single family residential. And the family has written a letter, it is of record, and they asked me to come tonight and just speak personally to you and ask you to reconsider allowing some of that ground to be used as commercial. The ground is not zoned commercial today because of some kind of disagreement between the city and the family. And there's history there. I was not a part of that history. I have started working with them as of March of this year, so I frankly don't know all the details, but I know that there is history there. The real issue is what's in the best interests of Urbandale and the citizens of Urbandale. And I would advocate to you, having been in the business for many, many years, more than I'm going to tell you, that it is my personal belief that this ground will support commercial use. It's the intersection of two major divided boulevards. Frankly, I think the ground needs to have a piece of the property zoned commercial, and the neighborhood will support commercial. It has not in the past because there's not enough rooftops there. It's a growing node of the city. And therefore, it had not been developed nor had the value supported commercial adequate to sell the property. I believe there's room for resolution here. I believe the city's goals can be accomplished and the family's goals both, frankly. And so our goal here tonight is simply to express our concern with the way the plan's drawn. You know, in going through these situations in years past, I know that there's not zoning occurring tonight, but you are casting a vision. And when you cast a vision, you sort of set a template. And so when someone comes in later and says, well, we'd like to zone our property commercial, the first thing that the council does and should do is go to the comp plan. What was our vision cast then? If you make an exception in the future, then it becomes difficult to not make an exception for the next person and the next person. Therefore, this comprehensive plan and what it says about this piece of land is important. And so it is with respect and the family request, Fisher family request, that you consider an exception or at least a note or an acknowledgement that this ground be zoned commercial, that a portion of the ground be zoned commercial. It's 72 acres and over 32 acres was zoned commercial 3 years ago. That's a lot. So are there any questions? With that, I'll stop.
Can you tell me what those streets, it's Meredith and,
Meredith and Alice's Road, which is also 170th Street. It's just south of the major water tower.
I'm looking at it, thank you.
It's the farm field south of the water tower.
I
Okay,
see it now, thank you.
thank you for your consideration. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Doug. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the council on this item? All right, seeing none then, I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Has he been able to get back on?
Well, I think that doesn't have to be part of the public hearing. We're going to have that as, I mean, public hearing is really just for the public comment.
No, yeah, I just didn't know if he was able to get back on now before.
Is he's not?
No, not yet.
So is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Kroll,
Second.
second by Obrecht. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Steve, did you have any further presentation you'd like to make? Or
Nothing I was going to add. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I mean, I think you all have had a chance to see it and certainly been involved in the process. And
I would like to comment on the communication received from Polk County Housing Trust Fund. I very much appreciate the time that they took to review the plan and make comments. I hope that a housing study, deep dive, whatever we want to call it, is near the top of your implementation matrix. I think that is key to a lot of the things that we're trying to do here in Urbandale. And I think Polk County Housing Trust Fund is a great partner in us trying to move forward with different varieties of housing stock throughout our community. So I really appreciate them taking the time to respond to our document.
agreed, yeah. Like that partnership and was happy that they basically had positive things to say about the plan too, so.
I guess I had a couple comments on the plan too. I mean, for me, it's still just kind of a framework. I think the mixed use piece, hopefully that lands more commercial than single use residential especially. That's one thing out of this plan that I wish there was more commercial identified in it. I'm just not sure that how we're laid out, we support that more commercial. So if there are ways to find that, I think financially it helps the city out when we have a lot more commercial. The residents get better services when we have a lot more commercial. So I get the consultants, from the consultant standpoint, that it's their job to see what's the best use for the ground and what might be supportable. Hopefully, as things develop, that changes. And with that too, though, I would also look at where we have some denser commercial, denser housing, that we also change some of our parking requirements so that we don't have as many parking lots per person or per square foot, or that there's a lot of ways that people get transportation and it's not always by a single family vehicle. So
Absolutely. There are many, many cities across the country that are changing those parking requirements. And that's frankly one of the main first things that we want to do is kind of identify that lowest hanging fruit.
Yep.
And parking ratios and some of those things in our zoning code is probably what that's going to end up being.
and there's
Which could help spur that development that you're talking about.
Yep. And there's certain sections of the city that doesn't make as much sense in, but then there's other areas that if we want denser development, we're going to have to not have parking stalls.
Right.
So.
Yep, agreed.
And I think it's important to point out, like, this is just the first step. So there will be more planning, there will be more digging in, deep
Absolutely.
dive throughout this particular plan itself.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And probably more public hearings on some of these codes ahead of us with this as the basis for everything. So like I said, this is very akin to the foundation that you do first before you build that house, so.
All right.
Good work. This was a feat. Thank you for tackling it.
It is always a major feat to tackle, but again, we're proud of what we do. We have a lot that's good, and I think this plan identifies some opportunities where we can make it even better, and look forward to working with council. Thank you all for your input in this process. Been a long process, and we look forward to working with the new council to implement these things. So,
All right. Adam, with that, is there a motion?
Move to approve Council Order 7620.
Motion by Obrecht, second by Blake. Any final discussion? If not, please vote. All right, that item passes. And again, I just want to echo the comments. Steve, thanks to you and staff for good work. This has been a long time coming, but it's going to provide a good framework for our city for the future. So thanks to everybody that had the part in this, and this is going to be a good vision for our city. So thank you. All right, moving on then to item 7, to establish public hearings. First, or the only one is item 7.1, to establish the public hearing for the development agreement with MWF Investing LLC. Curtis, will answer any questions if there are on this.
Move to establish a public hearing.
Okay, motion by Obrecht, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. All right, that item passes. Item 8, regular agenda items. First is item 8.1, is the annual comprehensive financial report. And Nikki, I have to ask, when did it change from ACFR to ACFR from CAFR? I thought it was.
It's ACFR now.
It's ACFR now. Okay, so introduce this as our finance director, Nikki Lamb. We always called it a CAFR before.
Yeah, for the
Now it's
25 years I've been doing it, it's been a CAFR. It is a hard habit to break, but it is now the annual comprehensive financial
All right.
report instead of the comprehensive annual. Very exciting. In an effort to speed through this, we have a long agenda tonight. A full document was taken to audit committee on November 29th and was reviewed and approved at that time. As you have maybe noticed, this is our 40th year of receiving the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting. That's for last year's. We apply for it each year. So 40 years of doing that. So kudos to all of my predecessors that started that process before me, and we continue to take pride in supporting that effort. Otherwise, it was a clean audit opinion, as good as we can get. Ide Bailey continues to be our auditors. We did have the federal award review this year, and that expended all of our money from ARPA. So that is finally done. That is a huge item to mark off the list, that those funds are fully spent now. And that all came back as well as a clean opinion. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Like I said, the audit committee reviewed this in painstaking detail at that time, so I won't bore you with all the details. But the front narrative, that MD&A is your best area to go through if you want a narrative explanation of kind of what happened during the year and all the initiatives that you as a council have achieved in the last fiscal year.
I did not hear where you said the best part to read was.
2 sections. The transmittal letter is the one from AJ and I that go through all the council initiatives.
November
The management discussion and analysis, pretty much everything at the front part before you start getting into the charts and financial statements themselves.
The front screens.
The Roman numeral section
Okay.
has all the narrative versus schedules.
And I would add the section starting at page 75, which is the historicals. For me, it's good because it.
Yeah, the statistical section is 10-year, for those items that have 10 years of data, some of those are new initiatives, the IPERS, and some of those disclosures haven't been in place for 10 years yet, but it's the good statisticals of, how many employees we've had and how many fire trucks we have and those kind of things, how many miles of trails, all those kind of things, and then tax valuation, property taxpayers, all of that information. There's 10 years of data in the back. Does anybody have any questions? And this is on our website. It is a hard copy here at City Hall and at the library, as always.
All right. Wonderful. Any further questions? Again, this is always a tremendous task, but it's a great single resource for really just describing our operations of the city. So, that, no other questions?
Motion to approve the annual comprehensive final report. Sorry, Adam.
Second.
Motion by Kroll, second by Obrecht. Discussion. Please vote. That item passes. Yeah, again, this does really lay out everything. The management discussion and analysis at the beginning is also very good. And it's just take some time to read this. This is there's a lot of numbers here, but there's also a good summary of where we are as a city. So thank you, Nikki. Thanks to AJ and the staff for getting us through another year of that. And thank you for the 40th year of the finance award. So I'm sure we'll get the certificate of that soon too, right?
Run out of wall space.
All right, item 8.2 is to consider the design outreach sponsored project agreement for the Institute for Design Research and Outreach for the Sustainable Urbandale Action Plan. And John, is John here? John?
There he is in the back.
Turn over to John Conier to introduce us. John?
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Tonight before you is an agreement to work with ISU, and it is to do a sustainable plan for the city of Urbandale. This came about, had discussions with ISU and some of their grad students in the summer. We talked about the greenhouse gas emissions report that Urbandale conducted in 2021 and finished up in 2022 based on 2020 data. There's a lot of 20s in there, but and so they have been back and forth, and also just tonight you passed the comprehensive land use plan. So they had reached out to us to see if we would be interested in having students in a class, probably 25 to 40 of them being undergraduates, come down and do a project for Urbandale. The project would be to take infill mixed use incentives for energy efficiency, setbacks, grocery stores, and they would come down and integrate that into a design and a plan for Urbandale. The students would look to do 2 outreach for the community to weigh in, and at the same time, they would like to come up with some interesting ways to engage our residents. So they talked about TikTok challenges, they talked about an app for Urbandale, so they talked about different ways to be engaged in to draw our residents in and to get their ideas going forward. This is not the full climate action plan. This is just a subset that ISU would help us work on based on those 6 identified pieces inside of their agreement. The cost is not to exceed $12,000. That is if they have to hire a graduate student. If we were to do the final plan review in-house with someone from ISU or you, then it would be a $10,000, and then we would just hire an intern to do the summer piece of it. But for the full expenses, it's the maximum not to exceed a $12,000 committed. Happy to answer any specific questions you may have.
All right, thank you, John. Any questions for John?
No, I just want to say thank you, John, for putting this together and working with the Iowa State students for coming up with creative ideas. I love the idea of using TikTok and developing an app because I feel like that's going to be reaching our more younger residents. And I love the fact that we as a city promoted to Iowa State the use of more native plants and vegetation. I know there's folks here in the audience that I've spoken to at length about exploring ways that we as a city can encourage some of our residents to use more of those native vegetation and plants. So I really appreciate everything that you put into this, and I know this is just a small component of what we're going to be doing for the Climate Action Plan as a whole, but this is, in my opinion, a great first step, and I'm very proud of what you've put together.
Thank you.
The only thing I'd say is if there's a chance for us to be engaged in the final plan presentation, I think that would be really fun and interesting to be part of.
I will note that. ISU plans to work with staff from community development, economic development, as well as other departments throughout the city. And then also at the same time, we'd want to make sure that they work with our nonprofits and then also you all as well too. So make sure that they definitely have a chance to get in front of the council.
Thank you.
With that,
Move approval of Council Letter 7631.
motion by Obrecht. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Item 8.3 is consider the bids for the 2023 sanitary sewer manhole lining program. John Larson, answer any questions if there are on this.
Move approval of Council Letter 7627.
Motion by Obrecht. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 8.4 is consider the bids for the stormwater outfalls project in various locations. Again, John, answer any questions on this.
Move approval of Council Letter 7624.
Motion by Obrecht. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. And item 8.5 is consider the equipment purchase for the equipment and labor cost to upfit the new police K-9 vehicle. And the chief or John will answer any questions on this.
When are we gonna get our K-9? I think that's what everybody really cares about.
So a little update on the K-9 program. We have a dog identified down in Jonesboro, Arkansas. So same place we got Basco. I don't know if you were informed, but Basco became seriously ill here about a month and a half ago, and miraculously has recovered. We thought we were going to lose him for a little bit, but he had some immune deficiency disease that had started attacking his red blood cells, and he's made a miraculous recovery. So we believe we're going to get him back to work here within the next month or so.
Wow.
But yes, we've identified the new K-9 down in Jonesboro as well. The handler, we've chosen Officer Justice Weaver, and Sergeant Taylor went down there last week and were there for 3 or 4 days watching the dog, and it still needs more training from the I guess I don't know what his title is, that he brings in the dogs and trains them initially and then brings the handlers in. So we're anticipating around February that we'll be sending Justice down to Jonesboro for training with the new K-9 for 3 weeks, and then come back, work for a while, and then go back for another additional week of training. She's named the dog Arco.
Arco?
Arco. It was a dog that was entered the Twin Towers on 9/11 and was lost.
Okay.
I thought that was a great name. So, yeah. I got pictures I can send to AJ of
Please
the
do.
dog, and we can share. Right.
I mean, this is
To
this
build
is
this new
stuff we
K-9.
really care about.
The purchase tonight is to outfit our new Tahoe that we brought in front of you, I think last council meeting, maybe 2 ago, to get it all outfitted and ready for the K-9.
All right. Thanks, Chief. Any further questions? If not, is there a motion?
Move to approve Council Letter 7630.
Motion by Obrecht, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. All right, that item passes. All right, before we get to the funding requests, we will do mayor and council items first. So Amy, I'll turn it over to you first.
I have to say, for the first time in this entire year, I've actually been prepared for this item when it comes to me. Also fitting. First of all, just want to say thank you and kudos to engineering staff, Kristen Brostrom, for her stormwater management plan presentation. We've been listening to a stormwater management conference in our house for the last 2 days. It's been thrilling, let me tell you. But really well done presentation. And then also Chief Johansson, thanks for doing a welfare check on a Urbandale resident. And also I got the opportunity to sit down with staff to talk about the CIT program, and was super helpful and super informative. So I appreciate that as well.
Thank you. Larry?
I got a few things. So we met as a Bravo board 2 weeks ago, and there are now 6 organizations within Urbandale that are utilizing funds through Bravo, largest being Living History Farms, no surprise. But we did pick up one new organization that's based here in Urbandale. Most of those organizations all fall within the smaller dollar amount, with Living History Farms being the largest donation that's received from Bravo. So we're slowly picking up more people or more organizations to send their way.
What are the ones that, the other 5?
I could not name them specifically because they didn't send us the list, but I counted them.
Okay.
That's what we're going through. Hopefully they should be sending that list out soon, if they haven't already released it. So it's great that we are seeing our Bravo dollars, as we are talking about it coming up shortly, being put to good use. I think those are organizations that bring a lot of value to our city, and I'm glad to see that they're utilizing that. In addition to that, I do want to call out that we have Wreaths Across America at McDivitt Cemetery this Saturday, and that will be hosted by the VFW and the American Legion. They'll be doing that in tandem. I'll be hosting it, or I'll be emceeing it, so I'll be stepping away from our budget session for a little bit to run over there, and thankfully it won't be as cold, so should be in and out pretty quickly. And then lastly, just want to say thanks to the Urbandale Police Department. I know they're doing their Shop with a Cop tonight. I know my wife's out there volunteering with them, and just appreciate all the work that they do in the community.
All right, thank you, Larry. Matt?
I know. Well, after 4 years, I'm here to just let everybody know about all the grudges and issues I have. No. For those that know, this is my last night, so I'm obviously joking. Well, I will leave before, anyway, no. I made comments before stating how amazing this opportunity was, and I just reiterate that. Thank you all, staff, for the 4 years. You have been amazing. Thank you all to the citizens that entrusted me with the opportunity to serve you as a leader of the community. It is bittersweet. I'm listening to all these things that are coming later, and I'm not going to be a part of it. And so it is tough, but I realize that there are some amazing people that are going to be stepping on, and I'm excited to see what they do and see what they do with the comp plan. So thank you again for the opportunity. I have loved every minute of it, even the 10 to 15 hour budget sessions.
Mailboxes.
Well, let's not talk about that issue.
I knew that would come up with something.
It had to. And finally, and I didn't mention this at the beginning, but for all the council members and the mayor that I have served with, you are some amazing human beings that have stepped up to serve our community, and it's been an honor serving with you as well. So thank you, and my final time with my council comments. So
You have one more meeting, though.
do I? Oh, I have
The lunch and learn next year.
I have the lunch and learn. Okay, yes, all right. Now I'm done.
So this being our meeting eve from our final. So next Tuesday, we get to the CIP public hearing as well. But I also kind of thought it was fitting, I got to drive Aurora Avenue tonight for the first time. So I started on the council, I couldn't drive down 104th to work. Then I couldn't drive down Douglas for a while, and then I couldn't drive down Aurora, and they're all now done in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So just the construction project continues through that. But and then also, it's great to see so many government students here tonight. Hopefully they get their colleagues to keep coming back as well. It is much better in here when the room is full of students. I appreciate you guys coming.
Thanks, Adam. Bridget?
Well, thank you both for your service. And, I get emotional. It's coming in with you and then you guys leaving is hard. But you're both not going anywhere. I know Adam's got a full to-do list, and Matt's to-do list is pretty full too. So
thank you both for your service. Thank you for the staff that organized the reception tonight. That was really, really great. The little taste of Urbandale, I think, was perfect for tonight. The biggest thing is DART. It is a fast-moving situation. It is not a fun situation to be involved in right now. I will just say that the statement that was referred to by Des Moines City Manager Scott Sanders in the Axios article this morning, other member communities and the DART staff feel was not factually correct. And our DART chair issued his own statement in response, but that has not received the same sort of response in the community as Scott's statement blaming leadership at DART, which is the furthest thing from this truth. We have, the 4 years that I've been on DART have been really up until the last 6 months, a model of what regional cooperation should look like, in my opinion, with a new funding formula that brings everybody along. And so I really don't know what the future holds over the next few months, but we really need this to be a regional effort to be successful. And I hope Des Moines will be a part of that regional effort, because we will all suffer, the suburbs that rely on the Des Moines portions of the route to get here, all of our citizens, and the metro as a whole. So I will do my very best to keep you updated via email, but there's a lot going on, and it's not very good right now.
All right, thanks, Bridget. Just have a few updates on things I've been working on. Again, MPO, I sound like a broken record, but we are going to have a executive committee meeting tomorrow and a policy committee, special policy committee meeting on Thursday to officially hire the consultant that will help us with the executive director search for MPO. And again, we have a very aggressive time frame set forth with the folks, and we hope to finally have a new executive director in place by March or April at the very latest. So but we do have a good plan in place, I think, and we'll be working on that. The partnership meets Friday morning. Greater Des Moines Partnership board meets Friday morning, and that's the regular meeting that we have. And I'll follow up with anything that comes out of that. Again, I think AJ just sent out the email that the annual dinner will be in January, and I believe we'll have
Last Thursday of January, the 25th or 29th.
So
25th, thank you.
we'll be working to probably get a table with the chamber.
Already reserved one table for us.
Okay,
So
all right.
We've got 10 seats.
So if you want to attend that, let AJ know. Had the National Civility Summit last week. I'm not sure if anybody was able to attend, but we had good attendance and some good remarks from a lot of speakers, and that was fun to participate in. I appreciated the opportunity to do that. With that, I believe that's it. We will move on then to item 10, which is the external organization funding request, which I think most of the people are in the room here for. So thank you for being patient with us tonight. We will get to that next. I do want, before we get started, we will go through, and I'm just going to take every organization that's listed here in the order that we have listed on the agenda. So I'll recognize each organization first. And again, this is the annual process we go through. I just want to lay a few ground rules. We'll just have the opportunity for each organization to provide some brief comments and to answer any questions that the council may have for each organization, if there are any questions on that. We will not be making any decisions on this tonight. We're just listening to your presentation and listening to that, and then we will have a subcommittee established that will be looking at this as part of our budget setting. And so we will look at this in further depth and make an initial review and have a recommendation that would go to the council as part of our budget setting that would occur early next year. So again, thank you to every organization that's here tonight. In looking at the organization, this is our opportunity, as I always say, this is our opportunity to leverage the dollars that we have available to us, to your organizations, to have the impact that you have in our community. So truly, each of the organizations that are here, I know, do a tremendous amount of impact for our community, and that's great that we can leverage our dollars to do that. And I wish we could fund everything to the extent that is requested and even do more than that, but obviously our funds are limited, so we do need to make some difficult choices, but just rest assured that we will make the choices that would hopefully have the most impact on our community in a positive manner. So again, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for what you do for our community, and we will do our best to make some decisions that can have a positive impact on our community. So with that, I'm going to start off and recognize the Urbandale 4th of July celebration. Who's starting? Larry?
Good evening. Larry Jablonski and Tim Mueller with the Urbandale 4th of July Committee. First off, again, as we always do, really appreciate the cooperation that the committee has with the city, with the parks, the police, and the fire department to pull it off. And as the 4th of July celebration is a source of pride in the community, I did notice in the brief screen before you lost the speaker that your cover of your comprehensive report has the fireworks that's going off. So it is and we know that it is a source of pride with the community. The good news is we will be having 4th of July celebration again this year. It'll be Thursday, July 4th. The bad news is, as everything else, costs are going up. For the last few years, the fireworks company each year has been giving us a $5,000 discount due to the fiasco that we had a few years ago where all the fireworks went off. And so instead of them refunding the money that year, we had an agreement with them that for each succeeding years, we would have a $5,000 reduction. So and last year, that was the last year of getting the $5,000 reduction. So right off the bat, we know next year our fireworks are going to cost $5,000 more if we go with the same amount of fireworks that we've had in previous years. And then on top of that, there's also going to be inflation that we know that's going to increase the cost of fireworks. And we know that it's a source of pride with the community. You say, well, do less fireworks. Well, all of us in this room would hear about that if we did less than the 25 to 30 minute offering. The other thing that we're entered into expense that's not going to be an ongoing expense, but we do have it's going to be an expense for next year, is we're working with the school that we're going to add some additional 240 outlets on a power pole that's in the Olmsted parking lot. The carnival brings in RVs, and the RVs now are becoming more sophisticated, and we've had in the past, we worked with the school, we had two 240 outlets there, and that's not enough now for the number of RVs that the carnival company is bringing in. They said that if we did not provide the additional electricity for them, they would have to bring in a generator, and that generator, I think, would probably not, the neighbors in that area would not like a generator going 24 hours during the week that they're there. So we've already, bids have been let, and we're working with the school, and the power pole will be there, but we have that additional expense that this year's budget will have to assume. So that's why we've increased our asking for this year. But we appreciate everything that the city does and how you've helped us in the past.
Great. Thanks, guys. Thank you. All right, Living History Farms. Anyone here from Living History Farms? All right, Urbandale Little League.
Good evening. I'm Molly Olsowski, and that's a lot louder than I'd expected it to be up here. Sorry. There are approximately 20 of us who serve on the Urbandale Little League Board of Directors. In addition, we have roughly 100 additional volunteers that are typically parents that support making up the teams. And there are over 500 children that participate in our league every year. So there are quite a few who go into making Northview Park the success that it is year after year. The board ourselves work tirelessly to maintain the fields. This isn't just during baseball season, but all year long. So part of that, I want to thank you with your support over past years that help us invest in the fields and keep it a notch above the rest. Part of which was last year was a brand new mower, which is incredible. And my favorite was the backpack blower, which sounds very silly, but it's an incredible thing. And I encourage you to show up for spring cleanup. You'll see why that's a very needed item. In addition, some of the things that we've been able to do on our own that we're very proud of is this year we invested $20,000 of our personal revenues into upgrading the fingers trails, which go out from the main hub to all of the fields to repair cracks, as well as some of the parking lot. So we're doing a lot of things to reinvest into our ball fields beyond just the physical labor. Part of what we are looking for today in this conversation, specific requests are for infield renovations on our main field hubs. So our hub is where we consider the concession stand, and there are 4 main fields around it, 9 fields in total. This is for field 1 and field 4, which are a majors and a minors field. The specific ask is for materials and services such as regrading and resodding of the grass infield, the aprons and back arc, which are the parts around home plate and the baselines, new base anchors and home plate, adding red ball diamond aggregate, which is a mix that makes dirt what it is for infields, and bringing the infield skin to grade. So what that actually means for all of you is over time, these dirt infields break down. So an example of that is right now, there's a lip or a dip where the infield meets the outfield. So what that means, if you're familiar with baseball, or even if you're not, if you've heard a bad hop, or you've seen somebody take a ball to the chin, they're down and ready, and it comes up unexpected, these are things that happen over time. So ours have reached a point where there is some concern that we would have to give up potential tournaments. Hosting those tournaments, again, gives up revenue. Those are things that we reinvest into the fields, into all of North Park, for the citizens, for the players, for the spectators. It also costs us the most important thing, which obviously is player safety. That's the residents of Urbandale, the surrounding areas, Ankeny Christian, who calls Northview Park their home field. There's a lot of people who utilize our fields. So normal maintenance, things we do, brooming, tamping, sweeping, all of these are just Band-Aid fixes. They aren't something that we can keep doing. They aren't sustainable, which is normal. All infields that are natural grass and dirt like ours have to go through this rebuilding process at some point. Unfortunately, we're here now. So the ask for this year is to support 2 of our main hub fields for that rebuilding. That's. Any questions for me on the fields or renovations? Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Des Moines Children's Museum.
Hi, I'm Julie Burtnett. I'm with Des Moines Children's Museum, and we are located in West Des Moines, but we saw over 13,000 Urbandale visitors. That's parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, lots and lots of little kids, including babies. And what we are doing right now is we are trying to build more exhibits, because when we had over 65,000 last year, and we're gonna hit closer to 72, I think, though we've had lots of really nice park days lately. I think we'll hit over 72,000 this year overall. So we need to be able to spread out a little bit more and have more exhibits for our people. We also have such a growing year this year. We have a lot more programming going on, and special events are really kind of what is going on. And so we're working with all sorts of different cities to try to help us supplement some of these big costs for the year, because normally we don't have such big costs. Any questions? Or do you want me to tell you one of the exhibits? Yeah. So we have this one that's called Flora's Lava, and we've had it for years, and it looks like it's ridiculous. You'd be like, that's just so silly. but you'd see adults playing with the kids all the time. It's a large motor and they have to go on balance beams and all sorts of different things. It's in this like very small section. And so we're gonna upgrade all of that and move it into a much bigger section because large motor in the winter for Iowa is really important to have kids be able to move around a lot more because it gets really cold out. We are also doing a big maze that's interactive and stuff. So like, it's not gonna be like this high because we want the adults still to be able to see their little kids, but it's for a kid, it's very immersive. And then we also have a new art center that we're working on where they can paint on glass. So like if that piece of glass, you paint it, you have a trowel, and then they can sit there and like wipe it down and squeegee and stuff. So it's continuously one of those interactive things.
So what's the timeline for getting these ones?
Tomorrow. No, I'm kidding.
No.
So it matters about funding. What gets funded is always what gets built first, is kind of what we always have to do. So we already have started building some of the maze, but we won't be able to open that maze for a while. And then we're just moving the floor as lava as a temporary fix to get us through this winter. And then we'll actually build a volcano that then they'll slide down and then have this like thing that spurts out. The kids can work together and put all these scarves in and then they'll spurt out. Okay. And so those kind of things are the things that we don't have funding right now for. So it's like, that's closer to like the summer months. But right now we're just trying to make do because the winter months we get really busy and then the summer months we have lots of field trips too.
Okay, so it won't be done for a 4-year-old's birthday party that's already booked for January 15th.
I mean, I could probably let you guys walk around the maze, but it's not done. Like, it's really cute. There's like dinosaurs and things like that. No, okay. But you'll still have a delightful time because we do have about 10,000 square feet that is interactive right now.
Fantastic. And just as a random aside, because my wife, we can bring our own pizza and cake to those.
Yes. We are in.
She's right here.
No, you absolutely can talk to me about these things. We did not go into making a children's museum thinking we were a birthday party venue, but even before we opened 6 years ago on the upper level floor with 3,000, we were getting requests. We were like, we don't even have anything open yet. So we know it's an important thing. We do not want to be the people that's like, you have to use this pizza provider or anything like that. You can bring whatever you want.
Cool.
All right.
You want to look at your calendar right now, Matt? Or
Well, no, you said it's already booked, right?
Okay.
Yeah, birthday parties are booked. I have people asking for April right now, and we're like, simmer down, so. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, JUSC.
Good evening. I'm Scott Van Aert. I'm president of Johnston Urbandale Soccer Club and also chairman of Sporting Iowa. For those of you who do not know, Sporting Iowa and JUSC serves, this last year, we served 2,800 players throughout the community. In 2023, roughly 1,700 of those were recreational players and a little over 1,100 are select players, and those players' ages range from 4U through 19U, and we offer 4 levels of competitive play, recreation, and then 3 levels of select play. So we try to bring programming to fit the needs and development of every player and every ability. We've brought a project to you. As you know, we've been in the community for a number of years now and actually haven't come to Urbandale for any kind of ask. I think it's probably been at least 8 years, but we're in the need at the Urbandale Soccer Complex of replacing all the goals. So that is our ask this year, and we're just asking for a portion of the cost. We intend to fund at least 50% or not, if not more, depending on what your ability to fund our project is. But this is on top of all the investments we've made to improve drainage and extend fencing that in the last few years. But that's what we brought to you this year, and we appreciate any assistance you could provide. Do you have any questions about the project?
All right. Great. Thank you. Jayhawk Soccer is next.
Hey, good evening. My name is Jeremy Bethards. I'm the technical director for Jayhawk Soccer Club and Iowa United. Jayhawk's been providing soccer to the youth in the community regardless of socioeconomic background for over 13 years. Our club consists of 700 players, primarily from Urbandale. We have a great relationship with the community as well as those in the city and look forward to partnering together. We also really appreciate the council considering our funding requests as it supports the club's mission to keep soccer affordable for all those in the community. We're seeking $5,000 to cover yearly parking lot fees as we've done in the past. And we're also seeking an additional $8,000 for soccer operations. With the $8,000, we're looking into multiple options to improve the soccer experience for all families in our community. As an all-volunteer organization, we're requesting these funds for the equipment that would allow our volunteers less time painting fields and maintaining fields and more time working with the kids in our community. This $8,000 could include a new sprayer, painting equipment, or renting a turf tank. Funds will also be used for goals, flags, nets, and other soccer equipment. I appreciate your time. Any questions for me? Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Yep, thank you. Waukee Community School Foundation.
Good evening, City Council members and Mr. Mayor. My name is Wendy Marsh. Full disclosure, I'm a member of the Waukee School Board. I'm not appearing here on behalf of the school board. I'm here as a member of the Waukee Community School District and also as a member of the Waukee Community Schools Foundation Hardship Committee. And Adrienne Tao, who's the director of the foundation, could not appear tonight, so I am appearing in her place. So the ask that we are making is from the city of Urbandale to fund $2,400 for the hardship fund to fund band instruments for Urbandale schools, primarily Waterford Elementary, which, as you probably already know, is the new elementary that's opening at the corner of 156th Street and Waterford. And for those of you that have children, you know that band can be a fantastic activity for kids. It goes beyond teaching them just to play instruments, but helps get them involved in school, which in turn makes them more engaged in school and hopefully makes them a better student. And I have some interesting statistics for Waukee. I think a lot of people have a perception that Waukee is a very rich district. And I will tell you that I was surprised by the statistic. Waukee has the fastest rate of growth in poverty among school-aged children of all nearby suburbs, with an 86% increase in the past 5 years, with the rate across all suburbs served by our school district has increased an average of 14% in that same period. And as many of you may know already, Waukee grows at a rate of about 500 to 600 students per year. Last year we grew 640 students, basically the size of an elementary school. So a lot of those students, they're purchasing a new instrument is a financial barrier for them. So the hardship fund for the school foundation, one of its primary purposes is to reduce these barriers and provide funding for these types of things that the school district cannot provide. There's a gap in that the funding that the school can provide, because if they provide funding for something, they have to make it equitable for all students, even if they don't have a need for it. So the school foundation helps fill that gap along with other various groups like the Boosters Clubs and Waukee Area Christian Services and so forth. So we are hoping that this will help make instruments more accessible to the elementary students at Waterford Elementary. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions you have. Okay.
Great. Thanks, Wendy.
All right. Thanks for your consideration.
UGRA. Anybody here from UGRA? Okay, no. The Greater Des Moines Partnership.
Good evening. Stacy Levon, representing the Greater Des Moines Partnership. And first, I'd like to say thank you for the long-term partnership you have had with us promoting economic development across the region. As we look at 2023, we met all of our goals or exceeded them with 31 business expansion projects or new locations in the region, over a $2 billion investment, and identifying 94 new leads this year that are in our pipeline now for potential location in 24 or beyond. Some projects take a long time. We also launched an RFI Ready Sites program. This program is designed to help us prepare as companies are looking to us for locations to build a new facility across the nation. So as we're working with site selectors and national companies looking at our region, it helps us be able to respond more quickly, as well as help us promote the region as that we have sites available. That is something that is so important across the nation today, that it's become more important over the past few years because of the limited number of sites. Moving forward, we also have our existing industry program with over 300 existing industry visits this past year. Moving forward, our focus is going to stay, we're going to be focused back to the basics and making sure that we are hitting our goals in economic development, workforce development, placemaking, and promoting the region nationally. And I'd be happy to answer questions on how we're going to do that or whatever, but we appreciate your support and hope you'll continue.
All right. Thanks, Stacy.
Thanks.
All right, Urbandale Food Pantry. Patty?
Good evening, everyone, Mayor, council members. Well, this year has been quite an interesting year. It's been very humbling and fulfilling. It's also been very challenging with serving record numbers for the past 18 months consecutively since April of 2022. But it's also been a challenging year for inventory needs, navigating food pantry partner relationships, but it's also been a really big year of successes. We did some minor renovations to the pantry earlier this year with support from the city that was able to do some double wide doors, being able to fit a pallet jack through. That really helped us decrease the schlepping that a lot of our volunteers that are doing. So we have about 17 to 20,000 pounds of food coming in and out of our doors every single week, and those minor renovations were able to really help alleviate some of that pressure that was put on them. We also won Small Business of the Year, which was an amazing accolade to our staff and to our volunteers, and it really shows the work that they're doing. November, we just served over 2,100 families in the month of November, which is also a stark reminder that just many families in the community are struggling to put food on the table. And those numbers are not slowing down. I'm hoping January will slow down at least a little bit. But we're also seeing more seniors. We're seeing more brand new families that have never received services before. So there's just a lot of things that are really impacting the families that we serve. We appreciate the support that the city has given, that you continue to give, and we look forward to that continued partnership as we move forward. Yep.
All right.
Questions?
All right.
All right.
Patty. UCAN.
Good evening, Betty Devine, representing Urbandale Community Action Network. And Urbandale Community Action Network is a 501c3 working with different partners in the community, nonprofits, the city, and community organizations to provide different comprehensive things that we need for the community, excuse me, for the community to make a difference in the Urbandale residents. We're asking for $65,000 to have help with the lease and then also for staffing. Currently, we're in a huge transition and have been for a while, I think most of you know. So we will be doing hiring of a director soon. We had a director who left abruptly, and we're hoping to hire somebody probably after the holidays at this point. And so that's what we'll be using some of the funding for. So some of our programs that I've done over the years have been kind of on hiatus, but at the same time, from the people that have been referred to us from around the citizens, from the business, from the food pantry and from the city, we get a lot of phone calls saying you'll help us with this. And so we are a great person resource to tie them to other things, to other businesses or nonprofits that can help them get their money for electricity, money for rent, and et cetera, kind of things just to stabilize them for a little bit. I have some statistics I put together, but I'm not going to stand here and read them to you. I will forward them to Nikki, and she'll gladly share them with you. So you don't have to sit here and listen to all my numbers because they just blah, blah, blah after a while. And so with that, I just thank you for support in the past and hope that we continue to partnership this next year. Some of you have been at our pantry, or our place before. We are at Aldersgate Church in the lower level. You are welcome to come anytime to visit us, and also to any of our board meetings. We meet the third Tuesday of every month. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Betty. All right, Hunger Free Dallas County.
Good evening. My name's Christy Creighton. I'm the board chair of the Food Grid, which is how we do business as Hunger Free Dallas County. This is Kim Dar. She's one of our board directors. We're here tonight asking for assistance in bringing some community refrigerators to Urbandale. Now, Hunger Free Dallas County, we've been focusing our efforts the past number of years now on the placement of community refrigerators in locations throughout Dallas County in conjunction with Polk County and Warren County as well. It's been called our Get on the Grid program. It focuses on setting up the appropriate infrastructure that's needed to be able to successfully deliver and redistribute and rescue food in the communities. We identify potential placement sites through our outreach efforts and networking, and we will arrange for the purchasing of refrigerators and sometimes freezers. Once a community refrigerator is delivered and installed, it literally gets on the grid, which means we install a little fridge grid device, which we've developed. It's a little computer. Once it's installed, it has sensors that tell us the usage, how often the fridge is open and closed and used. And it also has 2 monitors that go inside that tell us the temperature and the humidity, so we can monitor it constantly in case it loses power. We have a server. We can see those in real time. And if something ever happens with a fridge, wherever the fridge is at, that person will get the direct email that'll tell them what's going on with the fridge. And then that data is also available to all of those individual places where we have them placed if they want to see how often it's getting used. So once they're placed and monitored, our group helps coordinate and arrange for transportation, for the distribution of food to the fridges. We lead efforts to help maintain them. We train volunteers in the community fridge communities in cleaning and food maintenance. We promote and market the program through our website and through promotional materials. Some examples of how we've expanded. With previous funding, we've obtained some funding in the past from the Iowa DNR. They're big supporters of community fridges because keeping the food from being thrown away is what helps the environment. So they're a big funding source for us in the past. We've purchased fridges for Perry, Redfield, Linden, Woodward, for Waukee Area Christian Services. We've added 3 additional Dallas County towns to our food service area. With our second round of funding, which was from United Way, we were able to add additional fridges in Perry, Minburn, Granger, and 3 in Waukee. And in Waukee, we've been able to successfully add them into our schools. So now we're developing the community fridge programs within the school districts themselves. We have some that are currently pending, people that want fridges. So we've placed them in, we have some examples here, in libraries, city halls, churches, schools, businesses, and in some low-income apartment complexes. So we're open to any place getting a fridge. And there are fridges now in Polk, Dallas, and Warren counties. And they're all partners with us and we have a community where we work together to keep these fridges going. And so we've been in contact with the church in Urbandale who's requested assistance with the purchase of a community fridge, which is what brings us here tonight. We would like to focus our next set of efforts on bringing 3 new community fridges to Urbandale. This is one town and city we haven't focused on yet. So that's what our ask is for. For $3,000, we found that it's basically $1,000 to get a fridge. We give them a toolkit with cleaning supplies, and we do a little bit of training and promotional for them, and to create the fridge grid device to get them onto the grid so we can help monitor it. So that's where we'd like to go next, and that's what we're requesting the assistance for.
All right.
So.
You mentioned the church location. Do you have other 2 locations?
We don't yet, but I know we will. The schools, we've been talking to lots of the schools, and it's hard. It's kind of a catch-22. It's hard to go look for them until we have the funding. So now that like how it happened in Perry, we got somebody wanted one first, and once we got the first one, then we were able to get funding to get more, and then we were able to place them. In Perry, we have them in the library. We have it in a daycare, and we have it in a school. And so we were able to get them. We like to focus on kind of one town at a time, and then we can get the system going in that town. So yeah, I have no doubt we'll get the fridges. We've been placing them within a couple of months. We just like to have the money to be able, because when they want it, we get it delivered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, next is American Legion Post 663.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Larry? Okay, so my name is Michael Knight. I'm the current commander of Post 663 in Urbandale, American Legion. Tonight, we are here to ask for a total of $2,175, which covers fees for 3 young men to attend American Legion Hawkeye Boys State to experience working in government positions and get an idea of what it's going to be like when they grow up. This kind of thing is a good background for these kids, and when they apply for college, it looks good on their resume. The other thing is that we're also awards for American Legion 5th grade flag essay contest held in Webster, St. Pius, and Des Moines Christian Elementary Schools. We award a cash prize of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place in each school. And then we pick an overall winner to represent our post in district and state competition. This program is held in September to December. We feel that we are trying to be part of Urbandale. We support Urbandale in every way we can. We support the 4th of July parade. We're part of it. Veterans Day festivities. We also have initiated with our partners VFW Post 9668 to have a quarterly food drive. We use that in our parking lot. We have it on quarterly, and we have it on a Saturday from 10 to 2. We set up cones in the parking lot, have a drive-through, have a tent out there and everything. People have been just really generous for the food pantry. We've collected on the average between $300 and $400 a time in cash, plus a truckload of food, and then we deliver it to the Urbandale Food Pantry. So we support them. We could see that after the pandemic, we were going to have a nationwide problem with food. And this is one thing that we support. Another thing we supported is with our partners with the VFW, we initiated and with Urbandale Parks and Recreation, partnered with them to bring in Wreaths Across America to McDivitt Cemetery. That's your cemetery. And we have now made it nationwide, recognized nationwide. In fact, it was on Channel 8 last night. So we feel really proud about that. We're going to meet there this Saturday and have a nice warm ceremony, hopefully. Nothing like last year, I couldn't even feel my hands, but it was amazing. We also had the fire department step forward and volunteer to be the color guard, which is fantastic. So that's another person that entity that we're trying to partnership with. We're partnershiping with the Urbandale Historical Society. We're going to do a presentation of the history of our building in February. So all in all, we have tried our very best to incorporate ourselves into the city of Urbandale and support it. Any questions?
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
First of all, I want to thank you so much for all that you have done in your service to our country and also in service to our community. I have really noticed what you're doing over the last couple of years, being much more active and visible in our community. I guess my questions, suggestions would be whether we could expand the essay contest into the schools in Urbandale that are in the Waukee School District. I don't know if that's covered by the Waukee post or not, but because there's so many communities that are in the Waukee school, we starting next year, we'll have 3 elementary schools. So if we could include one of those in the program. And then my other question is, and I did a little bit of research about Girls State today, and does your auxiliary sponsor
Yes.
girls to attend Girls State?
Yes, they do. And I don't know how they fund it, but they do.
Okay.
Yeah, yearly. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's been a tradition. That's just the way it was, the way it is. And we've always supported the boys, and the auxiliary has supported the girls.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
All right. Great.
Okay,
Thank you, Mike.
appreciate your support. Thank you.
Absolutely. VFW and Post 9668.
Good evening. I'm Dennis Applehans, Post Commander of Urbandale VFW 9668. This is our Quartermaster, Mark Newhall. This is our first time in appearing before you for funding. And I would have to say that Commander Knight pretty much spelled out everything I was going to say tonight. But we do cooperate together, and a lot of the organizations that we cooperate with, he has already listed. I will also say that UCAN is another one. We transport veterans and citizens for grocery shopping, medical appointments, whatever. We also have an Americanism scholarship program, very similar to what the Legion has. Ours is called Patriot Pen and Voice of Democracy, and we also have Teacher of the Year. Each one of these is a step toward a national award for a scholarship up to $35,000 for a Voice of Democracy winner at our national convention each year. The Patriot Pen winner can receive up to $5,000. All of this toward a college or university of their choice. This operating year has been one that hasn't been as productive as far as our general income to maintain our post and these programs. So that is why we're here tonight. Mark, would you like to say a few words on our funding and basic?
We have 2 primary streams of revenue. We have a general fund, which we support through our concession trailer sales that we do every year at the Urbandale 4th of July. We've been doing that for as long as the post has been in existence, and that is a
a major fundraiser for our organization every year, and we truly appreciate the community's support as they come and visit us during that event. And then the other event for our relief fund, which is specifically set aside to assist veterans in need within the community and across the state, is our Buddy Poppy distributions that we do around Memorial Day and again around Veterans Day. So in between those two events, that's probably 90% of our revenues. We've had some extraordinary expenses. Our concession trailer, I think it tipped over the 50-year-old mark this year, which required we're having to put more and more costs into maintaining that and keeping it operational. We spent $500 totally rewiring the trailer. The electrician who looked at that was amazed we had not had a serious issue. But we've got that on track. But we do appreciate your consideration this evening for the approximately $1,000 in funding to support our scholarship programs.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right. That concludes. Is there any other organization I hadn't recognized? That's all I had on my list, but I want to make sure there are no other organizations that are expected to be recognized. All right. Well, again, thank you, everyone. The information is very helpful. Again, this is the first step of the process. We appreciate the information and listening to your programs tonight. And again, just want to say thank you to each and every organization for what you do for our community. So it's great that we can partner with you, and thank you for what you do for our community. So with that, we will, again, as I said, we will have a meeting internally shortly, and then we come back and we will make recommendations to the council as part of our budgeting process. So with that, we are at the end of our agenda and we are adjourned. So have a